Okay.
We're live on YouTube.
Thank you. Welcome. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Northampton Town Council. For information, I've convened this first meeting of the new Town Council pursuant to paragraph 11 of the Northampton Borough Council Reorganisation of Community Governance, number 1, Northampton Parish Council, Order 2020. Before we start the meeting formally, could I please ask anyone that still has their mobile phones on to switch them to silent, please? In terms of meeting etiquette, could I also ask that when indicating when any elected member does wish to speak on an agenda item, that you please use the blue hand facility that we have here on Zoom. Now it gives me a great pleasure to invite His Worship, the Mayor of Northampton, Councillor Brian Sargent, to officially open the meeting.
Once in a lifetime meeting, I think. Good evening. Welcome to the first Shadow Town Council inaugural meeting. This evening we are composing history after what seems like a whole year of unprecedented events and change. We are part of an exciting inception of Northampton's Town Council, the largest in Britain's history. This is certainly an opportunity to make a huge positive difference to our town. I am proud as the 780th Mayor of the Borough of Northampton to welcome the new change, and I pass forth my blessing, actually more than blessing, to Councillor Rafia Ashraf and Councillor Dennis Meredith, who have been nominated tonight as Chair and Deputy Chair of Northampton Town Council, and next April will succeed me as Mayor and Deputy Mayor. I pass on the more than best wishes to you both. May this change bring forth a new beginning for our town. It has not been an easy time for any of our citizens, and I am sure that they are in the best hands going forward, and I am excited to see what the future will bring us. I shall watch with interest. I'm now in the meeting by calling for nominations for the Chair of the Town Council. I call on Councillor Daniel Stone.
Very many thanks, Mr. Mayor, and thank you. For all that you have done in these very, very difficult
times.
Wish
I could have done more, Daniel.
I'm sure. It's my great pleasure, colleagues, to move that in this council, the chairman and deputy chairman will in future be referred to and addressed as chair and deputy chair, respectively, and that the councillor Rafia Ashraf be appointed as the first chair of the council. And in doing that, please indulge me if I just say a few words about Councillor Ashraf. When I nominated Councillor Ashraf formally to be the Deputy Mayor, I talked you through how she had arrived to where she is today. A child born and bred in Northampton, and I talked you through her many stages of realising her dreams and ambitions for higher education, a career, a marriage, children, and then lastly, political engagement. I talked you through her trials, her tribulations, and her triumphs so that you had an insight into all the many areas of barriers she faced and still faces. And the story shows her to be resilient, determined, and above all productive, even in the face of adversity. And I know you took all of that to heart. Today, I want to highlight Councillor Ashraf's role as a community activist. You will know that she is an exemplary ward councillor. In fact, I've been told by officers on more than one occasion that she is the best of the best. She has conducted many successful campaigns on behalf of her constituents, and you will be aware of some of them. You'll be aware of her campaign to make St James a litter-free zone, her campaign to stop dog fouling, her campaigns to improve public spaces. It's actually how she does it that marks Councillor Ashraf out. She engages her community, she develops partnerships, she works extraordinarily well with borough officers and other officers like the police. She works with them to develop action plans that resonate with her communities because she listened to them and what they want are in those action plans. Her partnerships include the local school and the children of the school. It includes local retailers and, of course, all the community groups. The results are plain for you and for me to see, but she also runs other campaigns that have an immediate impact on vulnerable people. You'll remember her food donation campaign that attracted so many donations, she had to book a community room to receive them all. She recently put out a call for children's toys and equipment, and again was overwhelmed by the response. On December the 12th, she is launching her Warm Winter Coats appeal. This goes to show that Councillor Ashraf doesn't just say it, she does it. And that's why her nomination as the first chair of Northampton Town Council has had such cross-party and community support. I am proud to nominate Councillor Ashraf as the first chair of Northampton Town Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stone. Is the motion seconded? Councillor Birch?
Mr. Mayor, I'm delighted to second the appointment of Councillor Rufia Ashraf as the first chair of the council. Rufia is a tireless champion of her local community. We've just heard in detail of some of the work that she's done, and she works with the residents, the schools, local organisations and officers to improve every aspect of the lives of the community she represents. She's known as a hardworking and successful campaigner. Her enthusiasm takes people with her and makes a real difference to those around her. These talents and skills will serve her well as she takes on this historic role as first chair of the town council. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers on the motion?
Nobody's indicating, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any other nominations?
Nobody's indicating.
Righto. So that's passing. I confirm that Councillor Ashraf has duly been elected as the first chair of Northampton Town Council. Many congratulations, Councillor Ashraf. I invite you now to make the statutory declaration of acceptance of office and take the chair for the remainder of this meeting. I can get back to me cup of tea. Councillor Ashraf.
Oh.
Is Councillor Ashraf muted?
You just need to come off mute, Councillor Ashraf.
She's just coming off.
There you go. Sorry about that. I, Rufia Ashraf, having been appointed to the office of Chair of the Town Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Northampton Town Council. I have the declaration of acceptance in front of me. I shall now sign that. Thank you. Thank you for the great honour you have bestowed on me in electing me the very first chair of the new Northampton Town Council. I thank Councillors Stone and Birch for their very kind words. I'd like to take this opportunity also to thank my family and my friends and colleagues for their continued support. On behalf of all town councillors, can I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your welcome to this meeting, and also through you, could we thank all councillors and officers of the Borough Council who have worked so hard with support from the Northamptonshire Association of Local Councils to ensure the creation of this new council. It is my great pleasure to welcome many past mayors, honorary aldermen, honorary freemen and hereditary freemen to this meeting. I am sorry that the current restrictions prevent us from meeting together. Sorry.
Is the motion seconded?
No, I've not finished yet, sorry.
Oh,
Meeting
right.
together in person, that I can assure you that the Town Council will be keen to preserve the traditions of the mayoralty and rich civic heritage which have served our residents for centuries. I am also delighted to welcome representatives of community organisations, our business partners, representatives from our faith communities, the press, and members of the public. Welcome also to Dr. Jonathan Owen, who is the Chief Executive of the National Association of Local Councils. I am very proud of my Bangladeshi heritage, but I am equally proud to be part of modern Northampton's wonderfully rich and diverse community. I know all my councillor colleagues share my passion for providing a voice for all sections of our community. Thank you again for all your support. We now come to item 2, election of Vice Chair, and I call upon Councillor Stone.
No. Madam Chair, I believe it's...
Sorry, yes, my apologies. It is Councillor Brown Malcolm.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Thank you, Chair, and may I be the first to be able to congratulate you on your appointment as Chair, as you say, on this historic occasion, historic position.
Thank you.
And in a few months' time, of course, I look forward to welcoming you as the first town mayor, but not the first Northampton mayor, of course, and 800 years. But Chair, it's my great privilege to be able to nominate my friend and colleague, Councillor Dennis Meredith, to be your deputy for the forthcoming year. Dennis came to Northampton about 50 years ago, 1973. He came from London to Northampton, as did many other people at that time, and moved into a house in Lumbertubs at that time. Not long after moving there, he involved himself, like you have, in his local community. All those years ago, he was instrumental in setting up the first residents' association in that area, and very soon involved in running and help running youth clubs and other activities, particular for young people. And people, fellow councillors who know him, know of his passion for young people and helping young people, because I think he would be the first to admit his youth wasn't the easiest of times, put it that way. So Dennis has a long history of involvement in his local community. He's also, of course, been a borough councillor for 13 years, and he's a wealth of experience in that position. And he's been a county councillor, and in fact, he's both. In fact, rather like tonight, I was working out, he becomes a member of 4 councils, I believe: Shadow West Northants, Shadow Town Council, and of course, he's still a member of the Northamptonshire County Council, and whilst we remain here, the historic borough of Northampton. Chair, it's my very great pleasure to nominate Councillor Dennis Meredith as the deputy for the ensuing year.
Thank you. Councillor Ansell.
Thank you, Councillor Ashraf, and can I also add my sincere congratulations to you on becoming Northampton's #1 citizen. It gives me great pleasure to second Councillor Meredith as the Deputy Mayor of the Town Council. Dennis became a councillor in 2006, and for the last 10 years I've worked closely with him on the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. I am sure he will be a wonderful Deputy Mayor to you, If he get elected in the forthcoming May elections, I know he will go on to make an excellent mayor. And if so, he will mark the start of his mayoralty by celebrating his golden wedding anniversary. Married to his wife, Rona, who has supported him through thick and thin while serving as a councillor, I'm sure she will go on to make a marvellous mayoress. The first time I visited Dennis's house, he showed me the chickens he kept in his back garden, and it soon became evident the great affection he had for them. Although he kept these chickens for 8 years, this sadly came to an abrupt end after a fox visited in the middle of the night, leaving Dennis devastated. Dennis has been through a turbulent time recently. As many of you are aware, he had 3 visits in 4 weeks to hospital. And as a fellow Catholic, I know he has a great faith, which has helped him immensely through his dark days in hospital. Dennis is a devoted Catholic, and I know the church community speak very highly of him. When I had the honour and privilege of being the mayor 2 years ago, he was a huge supporter of my mayoral charity, the Hope Centre, and also hosted a fundraiser for me at the allotment where he has a small holding, along with attending and supporting me at numerous events that I organised throughout my year in office. Dennis is a pillar of the community, and he's invited me to numerous community events in his ward over the years, along with the opening of the playground in Southfields, which he was instrumental in campaigning for. He's a great ambassador for the constituents he represents, and like myself, Dennis is very outspoken and never short of a word or two. He's always battling for the well-being of his constituents, making sure their voices are always heard. Whilst in hospital, I know there was a gentleman who was in the bed next to him, giving the nurses and doctors a hard time, and Dennis was the first to jump to their defence, giving the neighbouring patient a piece of his mind. Over the years, there's been a number of great characters that have graced the chamber of the town hall, and Dennis will certainly be remembered as one of them, in an affectionate way, for his enthusiasm, outspokenness, and thoughtfulness towards his colleagues of all parties. I have found Dennis to be one of life's gentlemen, and I therefore have no hesitation in seconding him for the Deputy Mayor of this new Town Council.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
Nobody's indicating.
Okay. Are there any other nominations?
Nobody's indicating.
There being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor Dennis Meredith has been duly elected Deputy Chair. Congratulations, Councillor Meredith. I now invite you to make the statutory declaration of acceptance of office.
Thank you. Can I, Rufia, could I congratulate you on becoming the mayor? Great honour which has been bestowed on you, and I'm really pleased, and I know that you will do a good job and that I will support you as much as I can.
Thank you.
I, Councillor Dennis Meredith, having been elected to the office of Deputy Chair of Northampton Town Council, hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties therefore according to the best of my judgment and ability. I do solemnly declare that I will uphold the highest standards in the performance of the function of my office in accordance with the Council's Code of Conduct. And I sign this in your presence. Thank you. And can I just, before I end that, with your permission, I'd like to say thank you to Councillor Phil Larratt and to Councillor Jonathan Nunn for their support in proposing me for this position. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. I have no apologies. We'll move on to item 5, appointment of acting town clerk and responsible financial officer. Item 5, I call upon Councillor Jane Birch.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations on your appointment. I'm pleased to propose the Town Council endorses Mr. Walden's temporary appointment of acting town clerk and responsible financial officer. I call on Councillor Meredith.
Sorry, Mayor, did you? Oh, just anyway. Councillor Ashraf, can I add my congratulations to you becoming the first chair? I'm sorry, just got a bit confused there, but I think it was the new sort of won't be the new leader of the thing. Something. So anyway, I'm pleased to second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
Nobody's indicating.
Okay. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. And against? Okay. I declare the motion to be carried. Declaration of interest. Are there any declaration of interest from members?
Nobody's indicating.
Thank you. We now move on to item 7, is to adopt the style Northampton Town Council. I call upon Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to propose that the council be styled a town council, and that with effect from the 1st of April 2021, the chair and the deputy chair be respectively styled as the town mayor and the deputy town mayor.
Councillor Marriott.
Please to second, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
Nobody's indicating.
I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. And against? No. I declare the motion to be carried. Appointment of Executive Committee. We now come to item 8, appointment of an Executive Committee. I call upon Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to move that an Executive Committee comprising of Councillors Lane, Brian Markham, Birch, McCutcheon, Marriott, Ashraf and Russell be appointed with delegated authority as detailed in the report.
Councillor Marriott.
Yeah, please to second, Chair.
Are there any other speakers?
Councillor Russell is indicating to speak.
Yes, Councillor Russell.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations on your
Thank
appointment.
you.
I'm sure you'll be marvellous and very successful. I would like to propose that Councillor Birch is leader of the Labour group and Councillor Les Marriott is deputy leader. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Markham.
McCutcheon. Arthur.
So, sorry, Chair. I was expecting we were discussing the executive committee or the executive of the town council. I just wanted to say, in regard to that executive committee, I think it should be noted that this is a cross-party executive committee, starting off for the new town council, or the shadow council as we are at the moment. And I welcome how much I welcome this, because the shadow, for instance, for the West Northants was appointed by central government, the executive of their thing, and locally we've decided to work together to make this new town council work as best as it can right from the very beginning, and I'm very much welcome that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I have Councillor Hallam.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to add, following on from Councillor Russell's announcement, that myself will be leader of the Conservative group, and Councillor Stephen Hibbert will ably assist me as my deputy, and Councillor Lane will be our nominee, as you've already heard, for the Executive Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Marriott.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Before we go on too far, because obviously Councillor Birch has actually moved the motion for the executive, but I didn't have a chance to second it at all. So I don't think the rehearsals went too well today, did they? But I'd just better second that before you put it to the vote as well. Thank you.
Oh, I do apologise. Councillor Markham.
So I'm not sure. There are two of us, Chair, Liberal Democrats, so I don't think we need a leader and a deputy leader, certainly on the Shadow Council. And I don't really see it, as I just said, really a political role very much, certainly for the Shadow Council.
Thank you. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Okay. And against? I declare the motion to be carried. Members of the Executive Committee, I now invite you to appoint your Chair and Deputy Chair. Councillor Russell.
Thank you very much. I just didn't scroll down far enough. I do apologise. So I propose that Councillor Birch be appointed Chair of the committee and Councillor Marriott Deputy Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McCutcheon. Councillor McCutcheon.
Apologies, Chairman.
That's all right.
I've got it. I happen to second that.
Thank you. Members of the Executive Committee, please indicate if you are in favour of the motion. Is that okay? Okay. And against? I declare the motion to be carried. Item 9 is the adoption of key documents. I call upon Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to propose the documents outlined in the report of the acting town clerk be adopted, subject to their formal review at the annual council meeting, following detailed scrutiny by the Executive Committee. These documents will then be reviewed annually.
Better getting quick this time, Mayor, so please a second.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
Nobody's indicating.
I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Okay. And against? I declare the motion to be carried. Item 10 is the appointment of external auditors. I call upon Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to propose that, for the reasons set out in the report of the acting town clerk, PKF Littlejohn be appointed as the external auditors for the town council.
Please to second, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
Nobody's indicating.
I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. And against? I declare the motion to be carried. We now come to item 11, Northants Pension Fund. I call upon Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to propose that the Town Council approves in principle that it joins the Northants Pension Fund for all transferred and subsequently appointed employees, subject to the Executive Committee considering and approving a report setting out the liabilities and risks of joining the fund.
Pleased to second, Chair.
Are there any speakers?
Nobody's indicating.
I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Okay. And against? I declare the motion to be carried. The next item, 12, is to consider armorial bearings. I call upon Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to propose and that Her Majesty the Queen be petitioned to grant a licence transferring the borough coat of arms to the Town Council.
Chair, just to say, before formally second it, which I'm pleased to do, I think this is a very important part of Northampton's historic structure, and it's vitally important that we retain this. We just don't want it to disappear after all these years. So really, for future generations of the citizens of Northampton, I'm really pleased to second this.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Councillor Hallam.
Thank you, Chair. May I first of all add my warm congratulations to yourself and your deputy on your election this evening. I'm happy to speak in support of the transfer of the borough's historic coat of arms. There is much in tonight's meeting that, perhaps unusually for political parties, we can agree on, and I'm sure that won't be the case in every meeting. I think that we all believe and share that one of the principal objectives of this new council is that we want to preserve our civic history in both the office of the mayoralty and retaining our historic coat of arms. And we'll achieve, it's great that we'll achieve both of those things this evening. In terms of the council itself, the Conservative Party will be working hard to hold the Labour administration to account, ensuring we retain our focus as a council and help develop the new council's own unique identity. We'll also look to add value from the many years' experience we have within our own group. But those discussions and how we shape the council moving forward are really for another day. And tonight we can simply celebrate a new phase in Northampton's long and distinguished history. I'm happy to support this item.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Nobody else is indicating.
Thank you. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Okay. And against? Okay. I declare the motion to be carried. Appointment of permanent town clerk, item 13. I call upon Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to propose that the terms and conditions for the appointment of the town clerk set out in the appendix to the report be approved. Could I also report that the appointments panel for the post will be Councillors Marriott, Hibbert, Brian Markham, Russell and myself. We want to benefit from the experience of as wide a spectrum of opinion as possible when making our recommendations on this important position. We're therefore arranging for candidates to individually meet 3 stakeholder panels, comprising firstly, the members of the Borough Council's cross-party working group, secondly, community representatives, and finally, any other members of this council who are able to take part in the selection process on the afternoon of Wednesday, the 13th of January. Any town councillors who would like to take part but have not yet so indicated, could they let either Richard Walden or Tracy Tiff in Democratic Services know, please?
Okay, Chair, I'm pleased to second this motion.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
Nobody's indicating.
Okay. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Okay. And against? I declare the motion to be carried. Item 14, to approve the dates of future meetings. Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to propose that the dates for future meetings as set out in the agenda be approved, subject to a change for the meeting of the Council in January. Due to a clash with meetings of other councils, I now propose that this important meeting be held on Wednesday, the 27th of January 2021 at 6:30 p.m.
Pleased to second, Chair, and also pleased to say this is the last time this evening you'll be hearing from me.
Okay. Best of luck. Are there any other speakers?
Nobody's indicating.
I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Okay. And against? I declare the motion to be carried. Our final item, 15, matters for information. As of page 6 of the agenda, I call upon Councillor Birch.
Thank you once again, Chair. For your information, I'm pleased to report that the matters set out in the report of the Town Clerk be noted. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no other business before the Council, I declare the meeting to be closed. Thank you for all your participants.